What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get into Monday, February 26th, the college basketball card. I'm going to give you guys my indications, leans, and two best bets that I'm going to have towards the end of this video. So make sure you guys are all sticking around till the end. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Get you guys on your way. And we're going to recap yesterday's plays and some of the plays over the weekend that we were on and kind of those outcomes before we get down into it. But first, guys, let's take care of some business. Make sure you guys are all subscribed down below. Smash that like button as well if you have not yet done so. If you have joined the channel, I appreciate you all. It's growing very, very nicely. All thanks to you guys. We're approaching 1,000 subscribers. Guys, that's a huge milestone for the channel, so welcome for all of you that are new, and for those of you that are returning, I thank of you. But let's get down into it, and I do want to preface this all by saying, guys, we are going to be doing a giveaway here on YouTube and on X, so make sure you guys are all subscribed with that notification bell, because March 1st, we're going to start our March Madness, a little contest, a little giveaway for the fans out there, so make sure you guys are all subscribed with those notifications on, because when I drop it and the details surrounding that giveaway, I want to make sure that all my subscribers have access. Okay, so that's what we're going to be getting into. Let's recap over the weekend. Saturday, 4-1, 4 out of 5 winners we had, really bringing it home. And I got to admit to you guys, I kind of had a bigger unit size on Saturday. I felt a little bit risky on the weekend, and quite frankly, I like the card a little better. Sunday, I might have forced one or two plays out there, but guys, it was one where we thought we can get over 50%, and that's where my 4 plays ended up going 1 out of 4 on that. Cleveland State came home, and the rest we suffered losses with FAU, with Creighton, as well as what we saw Purdue really dropping the ball. I thought they were going to end up winning by 20 plus, actually taking on Michigan on the road. That's one where Purdue, man, that is a team that is Jekyll and Hyde. I really, truly feel that way. When it comes down to the Boilermakers, that's going to be one of the teams that I really am not taking that far into the NCAA tournament. I know a lot of people have them as the overall #1 seed, and guys, I just can't get there with that, especially last year with that bad taste of them losing in that first round against a 16 seed. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. We're going to have a lot of March Madness content coming up on the channel, but let's get into the plays for the 26th on Monday night. Let's get into the card. I'll show you guys exactly where I'm headed with my thoughts and what's going on exactly on that card. So first, we're going into Miami, North Carolina. I don't have an official play quite yet in this game, but this is one where, guys, I have a strong indication. I'm going to show you some historical trends along with some betting splits and analysis and get you on your way with a very strong lean in that contest, okay? And then some of the other games, guys, I'm just going to breeze through this list. Alabama State, Bethune-Cookman, that will be an actual official play I'm going to be locking in on the channel. So I'm going to give you guys that full breakdown to my pick. And then we're also going to have a play in the Drexel, Delaware matchup, tipping off 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. All right, I'm going to break that one down for you guys. And then I'm going to also have a lean in the probably marquee game on the slate. That's kind of where we're looking into a rematch with the Baylor Bears, fresh off a loss to the Houston Cougars over the weekend, taking on the TCU Horned Frogs on the road. Okay, so without further ado, let's get down into it, guys, and make sure you stick around to the end where I give you guys my official plays. But this is the first one. We're going to get into we're going to get into Drexel Dragons taking on the Delaware Blue Hens, okay? And if you guys knew those mascots, that's definitely a trivia question, especially with the Delaware Blue Hens, where if you were able to know that random facts within the college basketball ranks, okay? But this is what we're looking at, okay? And this is a testament to the use and value of using KenPom rankings. We're starting to see a little reverse line movement, so that's one where definitely catches my eye, definitely going to gain my attention when I'm looking through each and every one of these games and these matchups. This is where it's a little fishy, but guys, it is something where you can apply to KenPom rankings. You can look at what Drexel's doing. Drexel's the better team. They're the better team on paper, okay? But I'm looking at a reverse line movement, and that's what really caught my eye. You can go back to the previous first matchup, and that was one where you look at what happened head-to-head. You saw Drexel basically losing towards Delaware, okay? That's one where we look at that actual number. That was one where we saw a 86-67 win, okay, where Drexel was able to win. And you can do the math on that, guys. That is a 19-point victory for Drexel, and they were 5.5-point favorites in that contest, okay? But here we are right here on February 26th, okay, looking at this contest right in front of us, looking at the numbers, okay, and we are staring there right in the face at a reverse line movement, guys. This is one where we can look at the numbers, and I'll tell you exactly what's going on. This is where we're seeing all of the money coming in on the Blue Hens of Delaware. We're seeing this reverse line movement, line opening up plus 1.5 for the Drexel Dragons, plus 2 some places. And now we're seeing Delaware -2 at home, okay? So we're going to lay it. We're going to lay the -2, okay? If you can find a 1.5 out there, or if you just want to take the money line at -130, -135, that's something that would not be something out of the ordinary. I think the Blue Jays are the side that I'm going to be on. I'm going to lock that one in right here, right now, okay? And I think I'm going to go with the money line, okay? I'm going to try to find it at -130. Shop around for that best number available. But you put all the efficiencies aside from Ken Palm, you look into what's going on. It's all about the reverse line movement. We had an opening, the better team opening as a favorite, and now the lesser team going across at 0, basically going to be a favorite as we get into tip. Okay, that's something where definitely catches my eye. Somebody's onto something, and I'm looking forward to taking the Delaware Fighting Blue Hens at home -2. Okay, and then my next play, guys, this is something where we're going to look into what's going on within Bethune-Cookman. All right, and what they're doing is they're playing Alabama State, and we saw this basically happen as a rematch where Cookman was able to win 79-68 on the road in early February. So this is a rematch, and this is where Alabama State definitely struggles. Okay, they are a horrible road team going on the road. You look at what they're doing. 12-5 covering the spread, though. That's something interesting. 70% covering the spread on the road. But, guys, this is one where I'm looking to back Bethune-Cookman. I really like what's going on in terms of the money, the way the money's flowing. And you look at what's happening is this 11-point victory that Bethune-Cookman had at Alabama State on the road earlier in the season. This is going to be the last hurrah, what we're seeing from BCU. In a little bit of motivation spot. I think that's something where you come and look to close out this final homestand. You also have to take into consideration that Bethune-Cookman is 5-1 out of its last 6 games, and Alabama State really, guys, struggles on the road. And then finally, not actually plays, but I want to get into the Baylor TCU game as well as North Carolina, Miami, Florida, because these are games where they're going to be the higher profile teams, right? They're going to be the higher handle games, the primetime games, the ones that everybody's looking forward to watching, I should say. But guys, sometimes the smaller schools really give you an advantage and an edge if you can find where the handle is with the lower bets in total versus that betting split when you look at money versus bets, okay? But within this matchup, we're going to go out to the later one first. We're going to talk Baylor TCU. Okay, this is one where we looked at this, guys, from an analysis standpoint. If you go back to their first contest, their first contest that they matched up with each other, this is one where you saw Baylor basically playing TCU at home and going to, I think, double overtime. That's where we saw a 105-102 win in terms of TCU, okay? So a little bit of a revenge spot for Baylor. Baylor coming off of a loss, fresh off the loss to Houston, where we look at this, and that was a game where that game went to overtime as well. So Baylor's legs, they like to slow down the pace a little bit in terms of limiting defensive, abilities, and it's something where they can get into these holds where they're not shooting well and they can really melt the clock. Okay, both of these teams have a very high offensive efficiency rating. They like to score points. That cannot be denied. But sometimes you look at these teams and you think, okay, both of these scores are going to be in the hundreds, and they end up going on the lower side of things. Okay, but this is a kind of a testament, and what I'm looking into in this game is possibly taking the under. Okay, we can look at this total right now at 149. 148.5, I should say. That's something where I look at it as possibly being a public overplay. I think a lot of people are going to look at that past matchup, not realize that it was played in overtime and actually multiple overtimes, and look at it. And guys, I don't think they're going to get to 150. I really, truly don't. It took overtime for Baylor to get to 150 against Houston this weekend. And TCU, guys, at home, it's a tough place to play. I could see some really strong defensive possessions where I'm looking at this game possibly being in the low 140s or high 130s, if that. So just kind of a lean for me, taking the under. It's kind of where I'm looking at in terms of this contest. Obviously, guys, you can't handicap overtime. That happened with the Baylor-Houston game over the weekend with my picks on Saturday. That was the only bet that we lost on Saturday. But that's kind of where I'm leaning to. If I had to have an indication in this contest, it would be towards the under 148.5. Okay, and then we're going to get into the final lean where we look at the Miami, Florida, North Carolina matchup. Okay, Miami has a guard that dropped 20 in their last matchup, basically not playing in this contest possibly. He's questionable, hasn't played in his last two, and we're seeing a very fishy line. We saw North Carolina, mind you, they were up 12 in the fourth quarter, all right? But this is where we're looking at Miami basically getting 14 on the road. North Carolina just got off a close contest within, I think it was Virginia Tech. Over the weekend, Miami's going to be a little rested. North Carolina's playing a real quick turnaround. But it's going to be a question, guys, if Nigel Pack actually plays for Miami. I think that's something that's why we're seeing this minus 14. He played in the first contest, and like I said, he dropped 20. And it was one where you look at what North Carolina does well, and they truly didn't have that going on in that game. But they were up 12 late in the second half, okay? So this game could have very easily covered and surpassed that 14-point mark. But the North Carolina game was played first in Coral Gables at Miami. That's where they were basically 4.5-point favorites. But they were not able to cover that mark, winning 75-72. Okay, so just kind of looking at this game, that's a lot of points. That is a lot of points, a lot of points for Miami, getting 14 on the road in a game where they basically could have won and came back earlier this month. But there's a little bit of a scenario change, and that's what's interesting. I think really North Carolina, despite having this big number, I probably would lean towards the value play is definitely taking the 14, and I think that's where I would lean in this contest, but I want to see what Nigel Pack's doing before I lock anything in, so make sure you guys all check the injuries, inactives, basically leading up till this contest, and if he's inactive and the number doesn't move, or if it even grows any larger, it could be priced in to this handicap. So if you guys are on North Carolina, you might want to take it based on Nigel Pack's availability because this line definitely will move, but the early money is coming on Miami taking that 14 early. So that's where I would be right here, right now, leaning towards, but no official play as of yet. I'm waiting for that injury status because, guys, that's a guard that dropped 20 in a contest that there was only 72 points scored for Miami. So just a huge chunk of that offense that I really don't want to put any money down, any kind of a wager without knowing what's actually happening in terms of an injury and who's going to be available for tomorrow's contest. So that's what I got going on within the college basketball ranks for Monday, February 26th. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys enjoyed the weekend. But guys, we're firing up. We're entering March Madness, and the NBA is back in full swing. So make sure you guys are all subscribed down below. Like I said, never miss a beat with what's going on in the Bettor Mark, and we look forward to talking to you guys and seeing you all in the next video. Cheers.